What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and we are going over another season preview for High Limit Racing, the High Limit Sprint Car Series in 2024. We've got a couple more of these to do today. We're talking about Kasey Kahne. Now, I haven't uploaded in a while. I know I put out a video earlier today talking about the format with High Limit, and if you didn't watch that one, I mentioned that I have been sick here over the last week and a half or so, ever since the Chili Bowl, and I have not been able to upload any videos, so sorry about that, but we are back to it here today. 2 videos in one day, and in this one we've got a little bit of breaking news going here. So Kasey Kahne, 44 years old at the time of this recording, driver of the Kasey Kahne Racing at number 9, and the new crew chief, which is the breaking news part of this video, Wayne Priddy will be the crew chief for Kasey Kahne in 2024. Justin Adams was the crew chief on that car, but now Wayne Priddy stepping in to turn the wrenches for him next season. Wayne Priddy, if you're not familiar, he was the crew chief on Zeb Wise's car when he was in the number 10 on the All-Star Tour, and more recently was with Justin Sanders on the Mitri Construction 2X car out in California. He was the crew chief that sent Sanders to second place in the Gold Cup Race of Champions at Silver Dollar Speedway, and Sanders had a lot of good runs last year with the Outlaws out there on the West Coast, and just in general with King of the West and things like that out there in California and in the state of Washington as well. So Wayne Priddy got Justin Sanders rolling pretty good. I'm very excited to see what he can do with Kasey Kahne here coming up in just a few weeks' time. So let's jump into it. So Kasey Kahne has not been a full-time member of any series for, I'm just looking at the last 3 years for him. Now, he was supposed to be a full-time member with the Outlaws in 2023, but got injured and was not able to complete the entire season. In 2021, Kasey Kahne did start the season with the Outlaws for about the first 6 or 7 races. That season, he did that because James McFadden was not able to make it to the States, I believe, that year. And so McFadden, that was kind of with the issues with the COVID pandemic, trying to get him over from Australia. So Kasey ran the first couple of races, and then when McFadden got here, Kasey kind of stepped aside a little bit. But then later that year, he stepped into the Roth Motorsports 83 car, and that is where most of the starts on this board are coming from in 2021. So 32 attempts with the Outlaws in 2021, and Kasey Kahne was able to make all 32 main events that season. 0 wins, 2 top 5s, 11 top 10s. He had 10 laps led and an average finish of 12.3. And you'll come to see here that that was statistically, of these 3 years, his best season that we're looking at today. 2022, he's back in the KKR number 9 car. He runs 43 times with the Outlaws, makes the main event on 29 occasions, 0 wins, once again 2 top 5 finishes, 6 top 10s, 23 laps led, but then his average finish slips down to 14.5. So as you can see, some of these numbers are starting to slip a little bit. Misses quite a few features, only 6 top 10s, and that average finish does drop 2 positions. 2023, year that just passed, Kasey Kahne, like I said, was supposed to run the full season, but got injured along the way, I believe, or had some kind of, I think it was actually some kind of problem where, like a personal issue that he had to tend to, and was not able to complete the entire season. 49 A-mains in 53 tries with the Outlaws, so he did run a pretty large portion of the schedule. 0 wins, 2 top 5s, back to 11 top 10s, 0 laps led, and a 15.1 average finish in 2023 with the World of Outlaws for Kasey Kahne. So that average finish was dropping here over the last 3 years. His best was when he was with the Roth Motorsports number 83. Now, jumping into some deeper numbers here for those 3 seasons, in 2021, his plus-minus was -7, meaning that he was losing more positions in the features than he was gaining throughout the entire season. A very good, a respectable qualifying average of 8.6 on a nightly basis, 6 dash appearances, and then he had 6 last chance showdown or B-main appearances as well in 2021. 2022, that plus-minus drops a little bit to -23 in the features, a 13.0 qualifying average, 7 dash appearances. Sorry, that is supposed to be a green number. 6 is smaller than 7, so that was supposed to be green, not red. But this is definitely supposed to be red. From 6 B-main appearances to 17 in 2022. A lot of appearances in the B-main for Kasey Kahne in 2022. And as you'll see in just a moment, in 2023 as well. 2023, minus 63 on the plus-minus department, so that number going down gradually. Then back to 12.8 on the qualifying average, 6 dash appearances, and once again, 17 appearances in the B main for Kasey Kahne, which I guess kind of correlates a little bit with that qualifying average. When you're qualifying 12th or 13th every night, you're not going to be sitting inside of those transfer positions in the heat race. You're going to be running the B main quite a bit, and that was the case for Kasey Kahne. Now, on that side of the board, looking at his most recent wins, he did have a win last year at the Houston Speedway in South Dakota. I want to say it was a NOSA-sanctioned event. Not a win with the Outlaws or the All-Stars by any means, but a win nonetheless at Houston. He's also a 5-time winner with the All-Star Circuit of Champions, but most of those wins, and I would say actually all of those wins, coming in the early 2000s. So it's been a long time since Kasey Kahne has won a pretty big sanctioned race. He's never won with the Outlaws, still waiting to get that knocked off the bucket list for him. SprintCarRatings.com has Kasey Kahne as the 47th best driver over the last 2 seasons in sprint car racing, with that 1-4-10 win at Houston Speedway. He does have 11 drivers running with high limit that are in front of him on that list. And if you're not familiar, that list looks at finishing results, looks at top 5s and top 10s, how many races that driver has ran, and just basically all of their finishing results and things like that kind of put together, and it spits out that number for 47th for Kasey Kahne. Now, on the bottom side of the board here, looking at the strengths for Kasey Kahne, and looking just like at a new beginning with high limit, right? And I guess this kind of goes for every single driver that's running. It's a brand new series, a brand new organization, and a brand new start for everybody to try and build their resume and kind of their history, right, with this series in 20 years. When we look back and we say, man, that guy, he did a lot of good things with high limit. He's the leader in wins or whatever, right? This is the start of a new beginning, and I think that's good for Kasey Kahne. I think that's good for a lot of drivers that we're looking at here with these season previews, but more for Kasey Kahne. He's never gotten that World of Outlaws win. He's been close on a couple of occasions. Hopefully he can get a high limit win, and that would be a really cool thing to see. He also has a new crew chief, as we mentioned a moment ago, with Wayne Priddy. I'm not saying Justin Adams did a bad job by any means, but I think just having a new pairing, right? Adams and Kane were together for quite a couple of years, but to maybe just have somebody new in there and have somebody new to talk to and make these adjustments, and maybe he sees things a little bit different than Justin Adams did. Maybe that'll prove to pay dividends for Kasey Kahne, and we see him running up front more often, qualifying better, which seems to be a little bit of an issue right now for him. So I'm excited. I am very, very excited to see Wayne Priddy and how him and Kasey Kahne how they will jive here throughout the season. Also, he's very good at the small tracks. In his last 40 top 10s in a 410 sprint car, 27 of them came on a track less than the size of a half-mile speedway. So more than half of his top 10s in his last 40 have come on the smaller racetracks. He does have 13 on the half-mile, so I'm not saying he can't get it done on a half-mile, but I'm saying that more often than not, he's getting in the top 10 or the top 5 on the smaller sized racetracks. And luckily for him, I would say 80% of the schedule, at least with high limit, is smaller racetracks. Now in the weakness department, Kasey Kahne, he just needs to stay healthy. I mean, there's been a couple of occasions in these last 3 years alone where he has had some very big wrecks. I think back to Volusia, I think at Eldora Speedway, where he's gotten into these big incidents and have taken him out of the seat for a while. And that's just not good. I mean, you got to stay in the seat. You got to stay sharp, right? When you take these long breaks away and, you get hurt and things like that, that just kind of, stunts your momentum, I feel like, in sprint cars. And so hopefully Kasey Kahne can, stay healthy, not get any big wrecks. Obviously, everybody is going to get into a wreck every now and again, but it just seems like more often than not, Kasey Kahne is just in the wrong place at the wrong time, really bad luck in those types of situations that get him into these big wrecks and take him out of the seat for a duration of time. Other thing that he needs to work on is trying to avoid the last chance showdown or the B-main, whatever you want to call it. I mean, 17 appearances over the last 2 years with just the Outlaws is not a very good number, right? And it's going to be hard to run top 10 when you're coming out of the last chance showdown every single night. So I think if Wayne Priddy can improve Kasey's qualifying effort back to these days with Roth when he was at an 8.6 in 2021, I think he will definitely avoid that LCS more often than not, and hopefully get him to the top 5 and the top 10 more often. With that being said, we'll jump into what I think Kasey Kahne will accomplish this year with High Limit. I think he's going to be somewhere between 10th to 12th in the point standings, and that kind of goes back to the SprintCarRatings.com number, where 11 High Limit drivers in front of him on that list. So that leads me to believe that he's going to be somewhere between 10th and 12th in points by the end of the season. Now, 6 to 10 top 5s is my guess for him. Most of those coming on the smaller racetracks, but I mean, that number could increase if this guy and this guy really, hit it off right off the bat. So that could change, but I got him down for 6 to 10 top 10s and 15 to 20, 6 to 10 top 5s and then 15 to 20 top 10s by the time the 60 race schedule is over. And will he get a win? I've got a win question mark. And then if it does happen, I think that Kasey Kahne will get a win if it happens at the Skagit Speedway in Washington. The High Limit Series does go there for 3 nights of action, and that goes back to this number right here. Those 40 top 10s, 5 of them have come at Skagit, and so he is very, very good there. He's from the Washington State area, obviously, and he's got a lot of laps in that place, and he seems to really like Skagit. So if he's able to get a win, I think it's going to happen at Skagit Speedway or on a track of similar size and shape, right? So I could see him getting a win if things go his way, and I don't think many people would be upset to see Kasey Kahne get a victory with High Limit. It's been a long time coming for him to get a big series win, and it'd be a hell of a celebration, I think, if he was able to do that. So that's all I've got for Kasey Kahne today. Let me know down in the comment section below, how do you think his season will go with High Limit in 2024? Will he get a win? Where is he going to end up in points? I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments. Let me know, and we'll see you guys in the next season preview. We'll be talking about Connor Morell, the driver of the Mark Daly Racing 28M. He'll be the next video we put out here on the YouTube channel. We'll see you guys in that one.